Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to start this video by showing you one of my Christmas presents, and it's here at the side of me and it's actually my Christmas tree. My friend's brother is a tree surgeon and has made this tree, and it's called a celebration hanging tree. You keep it up all year round and you can use it all the time for different themes, so that's what I'm going to try and do this year. But I just wanted to show you a few of the things that are on it because my friend Nikki and her daughter Sienna have given me the tree for one of my Christmas presents. And on the tree, several of the things have been made by 11-year-old Sienna, which is really nice for me to keep. She's even given me a box to pack them all away in. So she's made me several pieces, stars and different things. But also on the tree there are some paper stars or snowflakes that she bought in Berlin last Saturday. And there's some polar bears which are made by her auntie, who's a craft maker and makes some lovely things. There's also a glass bauble, a really heavy glass bauble that was made in Jerusalem, which means a lot to me as a Christian. And several other things, pom-poms and things that Sienna has made, stars with our names on and things like that. And I just think it's really special because we don't usually bother with a Christmas tree. We haven't since Joe was quite young. But this is just something different and I think it's really nice. So it's my celebration hanging tree, using it for Christmas. Right, yeah, as I say, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my weight loss journey and my maintenance journey. I've been to group this morning and because we've got a standing consultant at the moment, it's quite a quiet place for group. And I think that's because A, our consultant's away, B, a lot of people just decide to take a period off at Christmas, and C, everybody is manically busy. So lots of people, including myself, were dashing in this morning, getting weighed, making apologies, wishing everybody Merry Christmas and leaving quite promptly. We've got a lot to do today and this is Joe's only day off before Christmas, so yeah, got to get all the last minute shopping and bits and bobs. So we went into group and I went in with hope and expectation. I knew where I wanted to be. I knew what I'd written on my Christmas bauble. I'd written on my Christmas bauble that I wanted to be at target. And that for me is 9 stone. Last week I was 9 stone and a half pound. The previous week I was 8 stone, 13 and a half pounds. So I'm like yo-yoing around that number. So I went into group this morning, stepped on the scales with hope and expectation, and lost half a pound, and yay, 9 stone, my Christmas wish. I'm really, really happy with that. Did I do anything different this week? Absolutely not. I'm following the new plan, 2 A's, 1 B, 5 to 15 sins. I've actually had 91 of my 105 sins this week. I'm enjoying 2 A's, I really am. It makes a massive difference. And I think I've been doing this for 4 weeks now. I've held my weight for 4 weeks within a pound. Been a bit like that, but I've held it within a pound for 4 weeks. If I can do that at 9 stone, then I think this plan is going to work really, really well for people who've got weight to lose. And I really genuinely believe that 2A choices is a massive, massive improvement on 2B choices. It makes you think about what you spend those A choices on. And I know a lot of the time we think it's really limited, it's cheese or milk, but there's so much different cheese and there's so many different kinds of milk out there that it works for me, and it's helping me to get a bit of fat back into my diet because, as I said before, I don't go for low fat cheese. If I'm going to eat cheese and I can only have a moderate amount, which is how I try to live my life today, then I'm going to have a moderate amount of the best cheese I can. And at the moment, you know, that's working for me. Right, so yeah, not a lot to report on group. But one thing, I think the first heading, I've got a few headings on a list that I've left with Joe back, and remember the first one was Costa. Now, everybody who watches my channel knows I am an absolute fan of large coconut lattes. I think this week I've only actually had 5 or 6, which has been a massive change. But that's because I now have the ability to make my own. I've got a very large mug which Dawn gave me for my birthday. I've got a supply of 12 litres of Alpro Professional coconut milk which arrived from Amazon. It works out at about £2 a litre. Now I can have, at the moment, until the new app changes, I believe I can have 400 mils of that for an A choice. So what I do is I put 400 mils in my big mug, I warm it for 3 minutes in the microwave, I put 2 shots of espresso into it from my Nespresso Cities, which was a Christmas present from a friend. And I will show that after Christmas because a few people have asked to see it. So I put 2 shots of coffee into it, and I estimate that actually costs me £1.50. It's 80 pence for the milk, 70 pence for the coffee, £1.50. If I go to Costa and have one, it's £3.75. So yeah, good saving. And I'm actually enjoying being able to have one at home. And if I want to, I can have one for an A choice. I can also sing one, because I'm a bit of a coffee person. Yeah. Absolutely loving having a coffee machine in the house. We really didn't think we'd need one. We didn't think we'd use one. And we've put it off for years, haven't we, Joe? Mm-hmm. Just saying, we wouldn't need it. We don't need one. It's another piece of equipment that'll end up in a cupboard. And I have to say, he's standing behind the camera now with one in his hand. It's the best gift we've had in a long time. Well, we've had some fabulous gifts, so I don't want to put the others down, but it's a really, really good gift, and it's getting a lot of use. While I'm on, I just want to say thank you to the people who've sent me Christmas gifts. I'm not going to name people because I might forget somebody and then I'd embarrass myself. But thank you to everybody who sent us cards and gifts for Christmas. They are really, really appreciated. Okay, next heading on my list, Joe.
Eat well.
Joe and I have been talking this week about the fact that we feel well. And we were like, as we've been walking, we were like looking at why we feel so well. And we feel well, we believe, because we eat well. And we both think we look well. I mean, people regularly say to me, Jane, you look so well. And compared to the grey person I used to look like when I was always very lifeless and energy lacking, I genuinely do feel so well today. So I'm taking it that I look well. You know, I can't see myself, but other people tell me that. And we think it's a cycle of 3 things, because we eat well, we feel well, we look well. And we were also saying, if we chose to go back to if I chose to go back to what I used to do, which was eating poorly, I would feel poorly, I would look poorly. And I think that explains why for so many years I was sick and tired. Really genuinely sick and tired. And then I got to a stage in my life where I was sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And that's when I finally did something about my weight. But now I feel so genuinely well, but I'm putting all of that down to eating on plan. I'm eating well, I'm feeling well, I'm looking well, and I'm going to continue doing that because it keeps me craving free. And it keeps me in a place where I want to live like this. I want to live this lifestyle. And when I say I've had a whole week 100% on plan, I'm going to be totally honest with you and say that has not been hard. I am not struggling. I don't want to stand here and look like a big head. I don't want to stand here and look like I'm showing off, but I want to tell it like it is. I am not struggling because it's Christmas next week. It's not Christmas this week, it's Christmas next week. I have not got a house full of chocolate, which is amazing because it's the first. I've not got a house full of junk and biscuits and cake, and I don't like mince pies, don't like Christmas cake, don't like Christmas pudding, they're not an issue. But I would have replaced all of those things with chocolate cakes, Yule logs, chocolate puddings, chocolate gâteaux. I'd have eaten a whole chocolate gâteau to myself at one time. Not now. So I'm not being a big head. I'm just telling you like it is. I am not struggling because it's Christmas. I am eating well, eating on plan, and bloody loving it.
I think the loop thing's called a feedback loop.
Is it called a feedback loop? So once you're in it and you stay in it, you just keep going round and round?
Yeah, it's like a microphone and a speaker and how you get feedback. It just kind of like accelerates and amplifies and gets faster and faster and faster. And but it works both ways. So yeah, if you ate shit, you'd look shit, you'd feel shit. So you ate some more shit and you'd look shitter, and then you'd feel shitter, so you eat some more shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But you eat better, you look better, you feel better, so you continue eating better, so you look better, so you look.
And
so
I
you
get
feel
what you mean
better.
when you use the word amplifies, because in all honesty, it just gets better. Now, I'm not saying I'm a Slimming World angel. I'm really not. And I'm not saying I'm not going to eat something at Christmas that isn't 100% on plan. But what I am saying is that for today, because I'm doing what I'm doing, I don't have to struggle. I don't have to battle cravings. I don't have to sit here and feel resentful because I can't eat this and I can't eat that. I don't want to. It's exciting, and it's beyond what I thought was possible. It's certainly beyond what I thought was possible for me. Right? Loving it. Next heading, Joe.
Chocolate-free Christmas.
Oh yeah, this kind of carries on again. Because I have no cravings for chocolate and no desire to eat chocolate, I've made the decision not to bring it in for Christmas. Now, I'm not saying I won't get chocolate for gifts, because inevitably I will. But what I am saying is I won't be eating it. And I haven't chosen to buy chocolate in for Christmas. We had a bit of a comical incident the other day. Last week, I mentioned on my vlog, I've been into town with my friend. We bought chocolates for gifts and that in my favourite handmade chocolate shop. She bought a lovely box of chocolates for them to have at Christmas on their family table. And then I got an emergency text from her on Wednesday night, can you go to town tomorrow and get me a box of chocolates? And I'm like, why? And she texts back, I ate them. No, I'm laughing because that's something I would have done. I couldn't have kept them in the house at one time. So we had this emergency run into town on Thursday to get her a box of chocolates, and bless him, Joe bought her an even bigger box than she had originally had. When she came round on Thursday evening to pick them up, she's now on a promise that she won't open them till Christmas. But it's not easy. If it's there, it calls to you. I find the answer is just don't invite it in. Leave it on the shelves in the supermarket. Let them worry about what they're going to do with it after Christmas. And don't buy it when they're selling it off because they bought too much. That's my advice if you need any. Right, so we're having a chocolate-free Christmas. It doesn't bother Joe because he doesn't really eat it anyway. And I'm just not. I don't need to engage with it to have to then reject it. It's so much easier not to go there in the first place. And I don't crave it. I don't miss it. I don't need it. Next, Joe?
Our Christmas Day.
Yeah, our Christmas Day. Right, so Tuesday's Christmas Day. Monday's Christmas Eve, it's not an issue. Being on planned day. Joe's at work. I'm quite happy to just eat normally on Monday. Tuesday's Christmas Day, so we'll get up on Christmas Day, and we're early risers, so we won't be lying in bed half the morning, but we'll get up on Christmas Day and we'll have our normal breakfast. And for me, that's quark, that's all bran, and that's probably a banana in it. Right, that's okay, that's my breakfast. And then plenty of coffee during the morning or whatever I want to drink in the morning. We're having a traditional Christmas lunch. Joe's cooking, his dad's coming. So we've got turkey. Now, because Joe doesn't he likes plain meat, Joe's got plain turkey. We've got what they call a turkey roulade, which is stuffed with pork and leeks and topped with streaky bacon. There's some Marks and Spencer's concoction. So we've got that, and then we'll have potatoes, and then we'll have all the traditional veg, and we'll have the pigs in blanket, and we'll have gluten-free stuffing, and we'll have gravy, a normal traditional, Brussels, cauliflower type, normal, traditional Christmas dinner. Now, dessert, my husband will have Christmas pudding because he loves his Christmas pudding. I don't. So I would usually have chocolate pudding, but I don't want that this year, so I'm having cheese and biscuits for mine, which is much more me. I'm a savoury person. I don't know what Joe's going to have. He'll decide on that one. But that's it for me. I'm not saying that later in the day I won't have, well, I'll tell you what I've got. I've treated myself to a bag of nuts, and these are pistachios, cashews, almonds, and can't remember one other. Can't remember. And I can't read it right. A 225 gram bag of nuts. I actually bought them in Aldi because they do a very similar bag in Marks and Spencer's, but it was a lot more expensive, and I think they were more or less exactly the same. Right, so for me, after Christmas lunch, I know I'm going to be full, and I'm going to be full after the actual meal. So I'll have my cheese and biscuits, maybe not straight away. It depends how full I'm feeling, because I want to enjoy them. I've got some good cheese. And thanks to Eva in Germany, got some good crackers. Thanks, Eva. Right, so I've got my bag of nuts. Now, if I want them, these are mine for Christmas Day. Nobody else in this house eats nuts. My husband doesn't like nuts. Joe's allergic to them, so these are mine. But if they haven't gone by the end of Christmas Day, what's left will go in the bin, because I'm not playing games with myself. I know my limitations. I know I can't get away with anything, nor do I want to try. But this bag of nuts, I just said to Joe, how many calories in this bag of nuts? Well, do we talk calories in this house or do we talk sins? We won't talk calories, we'll talk sins. 71 sins in that bag of nuts. But that's mine if I want it. And I will eat them if I want them. I'm not afraid to eat them. But isn't it surprising? 71 sins in a bag of nuts. Now, the old me would have had bowls and bowls of every kind of nuts imaginable. And I'd have eaten the lot, and I'd have kept stuffing them down. I don't need to do that anymore. That's the maximum I'll eat. And if I don't eat them, they'll go in the bin. Right, so that's it for Christmas Day. Tea time would be back on plan for me. If I want a drink, I can have one. I've got drink. I've got my limoncello, which I love. I've got my mead. I've got my mead and port. It's there if I want it. I don't have to drink it. And that's the freedom I like. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. I can choose not to. That's like, I love it. The consistency of choice power. Because whatever we do over Christmas, we all have a choice to stay on plan, stay off plan, mix it up, do whatever. None of us are wrong. None of us are right. It's just what we choose to do. The hardest thing is when you feel pressured by other people. And I think, for me, I'm lucky we're having a Christmas at home. If I was having a Christmas with my brother and my mum and family and everything, it's harder because everybody's like, oh, for God's sake, Jane, you're thin now. Eat this, eat this, eat this, drink this, drink this. The thing is, if I do that, under peer pressure or family pressure, I ain't going to stay thin for very long. Because once I start to eat, like Joe says, once I start to eat the shit, I can't stop. That's when my binging, I'm a diagnosed binge eater. That's when my binging comes back in. And once I'm back on that cycle, I don't know if I could ever get off it again. So I'm not going to risk it. So that's my Christmas Day. Anything else I have on there?
Robbie Williams.
Oh yeah, the nut thing. Yeah, when I'm talking about the nuts, let me just say something that when Joe and I were talking about it, it took me back to being young. I grew up in a pub. My parents were publicans. And my dad was a bookie as well, but my parents ran a big pub. And one of the reasons we had peanuts, salted peanuts out on the bar all the time, was because if you can get your customers to eat salted peanuts, you can get your customers to drink more. And that's why pubs sell pork scratchings, or whatever you want to call it, pork crackling. That's why they sell crisps. And in the years before pubs served food, they still sold all of those things because the more of that they could get you to eat, the more you would drink. It's a trick of the trade. And it works at home too. If you get into the cycle of eating salted nuts like I used to by the bagful, honey roasted peanuts, things like that, but anything salted, then you're going to make yourself drink more. So that's just a little tip on Christmas Day. This is the one time of year when people who don't generally have nuts in the house buy nuts. I bet a lot of people buy salted peanuts at Christmas. Be careful, because once you start to eat those, you'll want to drink more. And you might be drinking Diet Coke. That's okay. But you might also be drinking vodka and Coke or Disaronno and Coke. Or you might be on the J2Os and knocking those back to quench your thirst, or whatever people choose to bring in at Christmas that they don't usually have. These are things to just be aware of, right? Robbie Williams, this is my last thing before I dash off. Robbie Williams is going to be the face of Weight Watchers from January. And I find it amazing. I like Robbie Williams, I love his music, and I actually like him a bit of a bad lad, isn't he? But I like his tattoos and things. But I was thinking, Robbie's got a history of gaining and losing weight, like lots of us have. And he's putting himself out there on that public platform. I'm guessing the weight's off. I'm guessing he's done it with Weight Watchers. I don't know the whole story. But he's putting himself out there like we do on a public platform and saying, look at me, I've lost the weight. And good on you, Robbie, because there's a massive pandemic of obesity and we need to do something to deal with it. And if people like him can encourage us and others to get on that bandwagon, whether it's Weight Watchers, diets, calorie diets, Slimming World, whatever. It doesn't matter as long as it works for us, does it? So what I was thinking when I heard this was, if I had to like put up there a face of Slimming World, who would I choose? I thought about celebrities and I thought, well, I can't go that way. I don't know any celebrities who've done Slimming World or actually confessed to doing Slimming World. And I'm sure there have been some over the years. But we know that like Sarah Ferguson did Weight Watchers, didn't she? She was the face of Weight Watchers for a long time. People like that. But if I had to choose a face for Slimming World from the people I know, who do that, not know personally, but know around the plan, from people's social media and everything like that, my nomination would be Nikki Ryan, aka Fopaholic, because she inspires me so much. If I'm struggling, which is not very often these days, but going back when I was struggling, if I went and watched some of Nikki's What I Eat in a Day type videos, fired up again. I love the way she eats, no nonsense. She's gone through 2 lots of failed IVF, a successful IVF. She's had twin boys at the beginning of September, and she's looking bloody amazing again. She's almost back to target. She's vlogging, you know, buying clothes again and feeling great and looking great. She never complains. She's got a smile on her face because you can hear it in her voice, and she is P4 positive. She's just so, I don't know, so enthusiastic, so fired up, so excited by life. And that to me has been a massive key to helping me see that Slimming World is not just about food. It's about our whole lives and the way it gives us our lives back. I watched a video yesterday, a young woman called Sarah Linney, who lost 10 stone in 50 weeks on Slimming World. And oh my word, she describes herself as a quiet girl, and she's got a beautiful quiet personality, but she is fired up for life. That's how we want, well, me and Joe, that's how we want to be. And I think I am. I am more fired up for life now than when I was 20, 30, 40, whatever. Because I can see beyond food. And if there's one thing I could wish for everybody as a gift for Christmas, it's to get to a place where you can see beyond food and see that Slimming World is not just about food. It's about enabling you to find life and live it. So that's my gift, if I could give you one thing for Christmas. But if anybody would like to write in the comments below who they would like to nominate as a face for Slimming World. I mean, if you want to join me and give Nikki a vote, I just think, if you don't already watch her, and I'm sure most of you do, have a look. Look how she eats. We can learn a lot from her. She's a Target member for over 16 years. She's a gold consultant. She's a team leader. You know, I think she'd be ideal as Margaret Miles Bramwell's, you know, sidekick, whatever. Anyway, happy Christmas to you all. Have a great one. And we'll see you next week for a weigh-in after Christmas. At our group, it's just a 1-hour weigh-in, pop in, get weighed and leave. But I'll do it. And I'll come back to you next week with my, hopefully, only minimal gain. All right, take care. Have a great Christmas. Bye.